Shall I start, Anya?
Yeah, start.
Yeah, students, good morning once again. And thank you very much for sparing time with me today in this evening. So, as you must have been introduced, or as you must have been edified with a certain knowledge as far as the research, its prerequisites rights is concerned. So, I think my session is the second session. And after having had detailed information about what is research and how the research is to be done, the very important for the research, the backbone for the research is data. Where there is no data, there won't be results. There won't be connection between results and objectives. The data is like a backbone, is like a bridge, is listening objectives and results. So the important data, before I talk about the data and how to collect it and what are the tools and techniques to be used for the data being called as raw data, which will be converted into information. But data collection is very, very important. And here comes the decisions. Data is not collected with a blind date. It's not like a programmed. It should be taken into consideration. A lot of prerequisites, predetermined objectives are there to take a decision on what kind of strategies to be selected as far as data collection is concerned. So the first one is you should absolutely understand and come to one conclusion whether you need numbers or whether you need stories. When it comes to numbers, it is a descriptive qualitative study. And quantitative study means you need quantities, you need numbers with which you will analyze. Otherwise, you are going for qualitative study, you need stories, you need descriptive more than what called numbers. A lot of description is needed. According to your need of either selecting numbers or selecting stories, data collection strategies are to be selected. So second point is, where do you collect the data from? From the environment, it will become experimental or observational research. From the files, it is the secondary data collection or qualitative study. People, it is primary data study. And it may be coming under quantitative study as well as descriptive statistics. It is not a thumb rule I am talking about, but here you should select where the data should be collected from. Corona has come. A lot of researches have been continued by checking the environment. The data was collected from environment. A lot of files are being collected as far as the new state is happened for us, and a lot of files are being gathered. A lot of information from the files, documents, journals, publications have been collected. Qualitative data. And the people, respondents, if you want to know the performance of any product or the perception of a new product, you will have to contact the consumers. They are coming under people. So this is basically the thing. And third one, which is also important, is the resources and time. Check your resources as well as the time. Research, you don't know, there is a lot of fund. There, I have seen there is a $50,000 fund is there for certain researchers in in African countries, provided by American associations. So there is such budget is there. But one thing is very true. As the budget, so as the research. Or else, as the research, so as the budget. Budget is one of the very important resources. Enumerators should be there. That is manpower. For qualitative study, manpower is highly important to collect the data from various resources, secondary resources. So people are also important. That is one of the resources, such as resources like infrastructure, technology. These are all the resources which are available is one under factor to select data collection strategies. Time, if it is a cross-sectional, it can be done within 1 year. If it is longitudinal survey, in which if you are trying to do time series analysis, you will take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and every year comparatively, you will have to study and forecast what will happen. Tomorrow, let us take gold. The rate of the gold has been studied this year, next year, and expecting the rate of the same gold in 2030. That is time series regression analysis. And time and resource is very, very important because nobody can dominate the economics. Budget is very important and time is also such. Nobody can take the time into one's control. Second one is what kind of data? The kind of data is complex, then data collection strategy is different. I have seen a lot of researchers and their data collection has been in the middle. Their data collection strategies have been changed because of the complexity of the data. One example I should really tell. I should tell the example of Dr. K.V. Somanath, who has done his research in such a deep forest area, tribal consumer behavior on the tribal products. He visited a lot of shanties. He visited a lot of households where people cannot go. There was no road. I'm not talking about the complexity of his research work. I'm talking about the data. It's so complex. And the data to be collected by such uneducated tribal people is so tough. So tough. First of all, they will not allow us to get interacted with. Such data to be collected and the genuine data to be collected means you should absolutely change the data collection strategy. Be adaptable to that condition. And frequency, how many times you should do? As I have already told, that I have collected some data from our students. 3-4 batches I have collected. 5-6 times I have collected. I have taken one gaming methodology. And that game I have tested on each and every student 3, 4, 5 times. Because of the frequency is needed for my research. But for just collecting the information as a matter of perception, as a matter of attitude, I don't really need 2-3 times questionnaire need not to be written down. Questionnaire one time is enough. But when this experimental survey or experimental practices are to be taken up, I should make it. I should increase the frequency. There comes the size. Universe is there, where the population is infinite. You are supposed to take a sample of that particular as a representative to that particular infinite population. Now you should decide the determination size and take that particular sample with errors and all those things to be taken into consideration, and accordingly data collection strategy should be opted again. And now coming to what is your objective? What kind of analysis you would like to make? Most of the students must have been making it. As far as my MBA students, still I'm not satisfied. Some of our students still doing, and they're complacent enough with their percentage level itself. Percentage, I don't really blame the percentages. Descriptive statistics is very good. Percentage, mean, mode, they're all good. Standard deviation, everything is good and you can analyze very well. But there is a limitation. If you really want to figure out the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable, if you want to know the relationship, if you want to know the impact, you should absolutely go for inferential statistics or analytical statistics, which is the suitable way, the best suitable way. So what is your intended forms of data analysis? What kind of data analysis would you really like to do? And would you feel that highly advisable and adaptable? These are all the prerequisites should be followed before collecting data. Otherwise, data collection is not complete. Use multiple data collection methods. For every vertical of my research, of course, my researches are big mega researches or major researches. Even for the minor research also, I want you to go for blended approach, qualitative and quantitative, both primary and secondary. Try to analyze qualitative data as well as quantitative data. Go for descriptive as well as inferential statistics. If you use all these multiple data collection methods and data being collected from all different methods, so results are quite interesting. And comparison between the results from various methods really show a very good way, or else it may show another way to further study. So multiple data collection methods is always adaptable, but again I'm telling resources and time. That is absolutely the bloody limitation that every researcher should follow, because they are not in our control. Okay, whatever the available data, we can use it. We can use secondary data or we can go for primary data. But very important thing is the measures. I'll talk the measures in the next slide. Whether the data going to be collected by you is appropriate or not, is exact or not, is accurate or not, stable or not, or reliable or not. We should absolutely go for validity and reliability. These two are the measures should be measured. If the data gathered is not correct, total things will go wrong. Everything will go dry. That is the reason that people go for data cleaning. If the data is not coming, or else non-sampling errors have come, somebody has not responded well, and somebody has intentionally responded wrong, and somebody has responded incomplete. All these are coming under non-sampling errors, which would absolutely not be allowed to include in our data and should be taken out, cleaned out. Sweep away all the data and try to understand. You have gathered the data of 385 and after cleaning it has come down to 200. Is it advisable? Almost 45% of data is cleaned. We will appreciate. Is it not something like you have cooked for 200 people and only 100 people have come, and will you be so happy by throwing the food for 100 people out? No. So before you gather non-sampling errors, you should understand why these particular errors have come. There must be some problem in your questionnaire. The problem is measurement. If you don't measure it well, the questions will go wrong, questionnaire will go wrong, and the respondent will absolutely go wrong, and data will go wrong. Finally. And accuracy. Accuracy should be ensured. And some data is coming quite contrary to common sense applications. Everybody will ask you. Absolutely. Corona has come. And if somebody tells that because of Corona, my income is increased, then it is quite contrary and quite against our common sense applications, because a lot of people have suffered from Corona. Especially economically, it has gone, total country has come down, minus 30. And how come it is possible for a man who has answered that Corona has helped him economically? It is quite, then the accuracy comes. Then what kind of business he has been in or profession he has been in, which does not have any effect. These are all the basic rules. And measurable, first measure is absolutely, is the measure relevant? You just think about 4 things. The data being collected, is it relevant to your research? If it is not relevant, why do you want irrelated and irrelevant information? Why irrelevant information has come? Because of your questions are irrelated. The questions are unrelated. So in your questionnaire, you did not measure it. You measure it first. You prepare all set of questions which are relevant to your research work. Credibility. Absolutely. Reasonable, credible, some result-oriented questions should be created. The measurement should be made in terms of what the information to be captured should be reasonable, should be appropriate. Useless questions, unrelated questions will be given. Sometimes repeated questions will be given because of the tolerance, to test the tolerance of respondent. But randomly, often you cannot give like that. Now coming to the validity. A lot of validities are there. I think it is going to be the lesson for you tomorrow, scaling and measurements, I suppose. But I will tell you some of the very important validities. Face validity. We'll see. The look it is least scientific. Content validity, where the content is very much seen. Content is highly seen. Whether the content is related or unrelated will be seen. Construct validity, the association of between the indicators will be checked out. Internal validity, the vertical relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. External validity, how the results have an impact on not only the sample that has been taken by you, by all the population. How does it have its own impact? That's what external validity. There is a statistical conclusion validity. There is a covariation between the cause and effect variables. And finally, there is a criteria related validity or instrumental validity, which will measure the measures, whatever you take. What is the quality of all the measures you have taken? These are all nothing but to talk about validity and reliability, which is very, very important. That's why it is highly recommended for a big survey or for a big research, where the sample size is also very big. You should go, first of all, with a pilot survey. At least with 60 to 80 sample size, you should collect. It is called pilot survey. You should go. Then calculate the reliability. If the reliability is in between 60% and 70%, then it is advisable. Even more than that or below to that is not advisable. Reliability is to be measured like that. There comes the precision and stability. You will come to know. Otherwise, you cannot go ahead with a long research. Very, very important is the measurements. If both are measured, then the question measured and both are highly qualified with validity as well as reliability. If both are qualified, then it could be called as a standard questionnaire. Such standard questionnaires can be published also. So I'm telling you once again, when you prepare some questionnaire, you should have good measures. And you don't measure something, and how do you know the quality? There are some standard sets with which you will measure. Where there are no standard sets, how do you measure? And how do you say that somebody is a good man, where there are no measures to calculate? Now, coming to two approaches. Maximum. For most of the researchers, everybody goes for blended approach, quantitative as well as qualitative. Quantitative, as the name fits, quantity. Data in numerical form. When it comes to the data in numerical forms, what could be the data? I should be precise. I want to become I want to top the list amongst all my competitors. I want to top the list means, okay, I want to come first. That's all. Vague, not a particular. But I want to achieve 67% of market share. I want to achieve 2,700 crores of turnover. I want to achieve 2 billions or 2 millions of customer data, customer size. These are all precise. But why they are all precise? They are measured in quantitative way. the age. You cannot just tell that what is your age means you cannot just tell that 1 year more than last year. No, it should be precise. Cost should be precise. Length, such as all these are the examples that should be exactly measured. Precise means exactly measured. As I told you, to set a very good, appropriate, standard questionnaire for quantitative approach is very tough, very harder to develop. I told you, na, all these validities should be calculated, measured, reliability should be measured. If there is a problem in setting, content, construct, criteria, all these are to be taken into consideration while preparing a questionnaire. Very hard to develop questionnaire. What people call that as instrument. But once the data comes, very easy. SPSS is a very good friend of all of us, where the data can be pumped in and everything can be easily managed, and you opt one analysis which is suitable for your objective, automatically tables will come. And analysis is easy through the table. But if you don't do reliability, validity, skewness, kurtosis, these are all measurements. And if something goes wrong with all these four or with all these predetermined qualifying tests, your data is not going to be easier again. So, coming to the qualitative, always you search for the data of description. Data of description means what call with wordy language. It may be acquisited out of gathering some information from books, from journals, from documents, from various resources of files, as well as observed. Self-reports are also right, but it cannot be precisely measured. And everybody says that I have observed observations. Most of the observations, not a maximum portion of observations, or major percentage of observations cannot be taken into consideration. In your research, 90% information has been out of observation. Only 10% out of secondary information means nobody will accept it. It is not advisable, in fact. Observations and self-reports are not exactly measured and precise, but yet who will believe it? If it is published, then it will be believable. So, authenticity of the reports is very, very important. Secondary information you are taking means authenticity is highly important. That's why it is called secondary. Secondary means somebody has written. Where? Somebody has published it. Where? This is identified. This is very, very important. Less structured, easy to develop. Still, there are so many qualitative approaches are being quantified again by coding, and there is a software also there to make a very good analysis, precise analysis for qualitative approach. But the data will be rich. A lot of data can be gathered. One of my friends who was working on some economics, what is that? He has gathered 1 lakh information, and he has given code for 1 lakh information. Second, literature review. I did not believe it, but it was true. So he has gathered 1 lakh descriptions from 1 lakh or 20,000 information or different information he has collected. How hard it is to analyze, you just understand. But if you really give good coding and put it in the software that is available for qualitative approach also, then it can be done, but it's really challenging to analyze. And collection of data here is very tough, not like quantitative approach. Here it is very tough, collecting from different sources, and there is again collection. While collecting itself, analysis should be done. While collecting itself, comparison should be done. Which alternate or which variable that particular information gathered is highly suitable for, much labor is needed. A lot of enumerators are needed for this. So basically, because of the data, big data is there, and lot of data is being collected, the reports will also be longer. The decisions are not landed or are not in the bottom line of few words. You are supposed to understand the analysis so as the conclusions, like that. So here comes, it is just a repetitive. So if you want to do a statistical analysis, want to be precise, know what you want to measure, want to cover a large group, go for quantitative. If you want narrative or depth information, if you are not sure that what you are able to measure and do not need any kind of quantification, then go for qualitative. So there are types of data. I think yesterday it must have already been told to you. Primary data, the first-hand information, the data that you collect directly from the customer is primary data. The data that somebody has already collected from customers and you are taking his data to support your research is the secondary data. Simple. Like you are cooking your own dish, means, right, it is vertical, it is directly a dish out of your hands. But somebody has cooked and feeded you means what? It is the secondary. Something like that, primary data is the data collected for the first hand, and it could also be called as original in character, like questionnaires that you develop, schedules that you develop, out of observations, interviews. Actually, generally questionnaires and interviews are the most commonly used survey tools. And while using these tools, you will collect the data, first-hand information, hot information you will collect. But secondary data is not like that. It must have already been collected. Sir has told that I have written some publications. 60 publications I have written, 60 researches I have done, and 60 publications I have done, and I have published it. If you are doing some research and you are taking my stuff, you are taking my research results as a reference, so that is absolutely a secondary data for you. For me, it is the primary. So secondary data are such. I will come back to you as far as secondary data is concerned. You know, my dear students, we are all from, previously we will be called that our researchers are from social studies, but nowadays management. Social studies and management can be two in one form. I don't really tell that we are not at all suitable to do experimental survey, but generally our surveys are survey based. Our researchers are survey based. Most of our research, 99% of our researchers are survey based. I have done some experiments as far as classroom experiences are concerned. Otherwise, even my surveys, because I am related to management studies, most of my researches are related to surveys. Survey research are descriptive research, experimental or experimental research. Survey, we will use large samples. Experiment, they don't need to use large samples. They will use very less samples. In surveys especially, we will describe, record, analyze and interpret the data. Here the data is systematic in a logical method. Both are scientific, but here it is logical method, systematic and logical method. That's why this is meant for social sciences, that is meant for science and engineering. This is called field research, and because we always collect the data from the field, hence it is called field research. But as far as the experimental work more done on in the laboratories, where as it is called laboratory research. Here it is called classified as social service. All surveys. Here, several readings they will collect, several scales they will collect, and several experimentations they will collect, and they will collect with certain frequencies also. Mind you, the difference between survey and experimental survey. Nowadays, there what call in association with one NGO, there has been in one village and one agricultural economics survey. Where research is being done, is going to be done, and we are planning what call some sort of dramas, we would like to show to them, and we would like to know their behavior. We would like to calculate their reactions to that, and we would like to make that research in the way of experimental research. Let us see how far it goes and what is the difference between survey and experiment is as such. How to decide on data? Right, it depends upon the situation. Here, I would like to focus more on the situation. Don't you ever come to one conclusion without understanding the situation. Situation demands the choice of data collection approach. Every technique is good, but every technique is suitable to an appropriate situation. You just cannot apply all the tools all the times. No, it's something like you believe that you are fooling everyone every time, all people. No, it's not possible for that. So you should understand, and you should be able to understand and gain all kind of experience and the knowledge to what extent which technique or data collection method is highly suitable for the situation that we have been, or at least the situation that your research has been. All subjects are subject to bias, all techniques are subject to bias. Situation is very, very important. Well, collection of the same information, use different methods. Triangulation is nothing but not one, simple. Triangulation means many. While collecting data, you got to go for multiple techniques, multi of everything. Omni process should be done. When it comes to methods, collect the information. The same information you want to collect it from different methods. Let us say that I have used two methods. One is questionnaire and second one is interview. Or third one is focus group. I'll go for three methods. If I go for three methods, the questionnaire is same. Even in the questionnaire, the same questions. Interview, the same questions. Or else focus group, same questions. May come. Some are structured and some are unstructured. That is another method. Interviews may be unstructured to gain more information. But questionnaire should be structured. It should not be open-ended. So triangular method is that the data you collected, qualitative approach and quantitative approach. Primary, yes, secondary. Different techniques also. That would be really a good supplementation to the research. Sources, the collection of the same information from various of sources. If the research is needed, collect the same kind of information from the different sources. Try to get the variance. What is the covariance of that? You have a chance to evaluate the covariance of the data has come from different sources. If it is absolutely heterogeneous, yes, it would be really a good stratified study. Triangle of evaluators, yeah, this may not make much difference, but anyways, when it comes to interview, the capacity of convincing for an interview and getting more information through open-ended questions is really a task of evaluator. And absolutely, a good evaluator may have all the chances to get complete information through it is a kind of task work. So data collection tools, participatory method, secondary data method, observation, survey and reports, focus group. I actually There are a lot of data collection tools, but I want you people, since the time has given to me is very, very less, only 1 hour, I don't think I can really justify to all collection tools, but very important tools I would really like to focus. One, participatory method, involve in groups and community, heavily in data collection. You just get involved. You are a researcher, you just get involved. First one is community meeting. Well, when it comes to community meeting, it should be well organized with a certain people are related to one community. That community agree on one purpose, and don't be blind while conducting a meeting. First of all, you should have some ground rules and have community meeting and the research related to that community. Here recently we have found one community has suffered a lot. Construction labor have suffered a lot during Corona, the years of COVID pandemic. They have returned to their native places. And that is one community. If you really want to know the real problems of that particular community, you just set a community meeting. That is absolutely, you should take part. Then only it will be called as participatory method. Second one is mapping. This is somewhat related to invite all the stakeholders in that particular business or that particular people engaged in services, anything for that matter. You just should take a list, make a note of all the stakeholders and invite all the stakeholders. And it is very useful to involve all the stakeholders and mapping them using existing maps. You just take all the information from all the people. Transact walks, walk around community. You just walk around, don't set a meeting. Walk around, observe them, observe the surroundings, observe the resources, find out the latches. And how many are giving complaint? It is not an interview, it is not a meeting. They would like to show their negativity on a certain thing. Majority people are showing some negativity on a particular thing. It can be known through transact walks, is highly reliable because you are not predetermined. It's not set. Participatory methods is like that. Most of the community service researchers, social service researchers especially, are taken part. This participatory method is being used high, very high. One research of motivating towards MSME, micro, not MSME, only micro business improvement. For that particular business, we have really conducted certain participatory community meetings, and the meeting there was high debates, huge debates, high debates about financing, about paying money back, about the discounts, about the interests. A lot of brainstorming was done, and we have gathered very good information from communities because they are the real problem facers. And it has already been talked. I think very less that I talk is better because the data that you collect, because since you are all students, to write an examination, you collect data from so many sources, from books, materials, sometimes journals, case studies you are referring means they are all, most of them are published and you can take it from online. Lot of reports from lot of sources, maybe from files, records, computer database, government reports. If you want to collect some data from a steel plant, which is from Indian government steel plant, and that reports every month or every year they release certain reports and they should be collected. Census data every 10 years it comes. It's a big data. Through R programming nowadays it is easier for us. Previously I used to do with Strata, but now it is easy while using R programming that what we call big data can also be analyzed well. Electronic mailing documents such as budget, charts, policies, journals and magazines, newspapers, television reports, whatever you take, mind you, reference is important. If you do not write reference, there is no reference. If there is no reference, who will believe it? I will also say a lot of things. Do you believe it? I'll say that in Andhra Pradesh, right, when somebody is plowing, right, in Andhra Pradesh, we will get diamonds instead of what call sand and all those things. Do you believe it? Whatever the lines taken from some source should be edified, should be proclaimed, should be referred. Take it granted. Don't take it. It is absolutely, if you take it without specifying his name, is nothing but stealing the data. Nothing, highly unethical as far as research is concerned. So, as far as first and secondary data is concerned, take it granted, you can take whatever is available, you can take it. Whatever is not secret, whatever is already taken to light can be taken. But specify where it has come from. So, observation. It is generally not, it is also not highly reliable. It will be done only when the needed information is not is not achieved, or else unless and until you see with your own eyes, you are not in a position to believe it. The junk information that has come nowadays through social media, as far as the vaccine is concerned, people are highly confused. Now people want to observe the medicine directly in the medical stores with one's own eyes. That's all. Because we have already seen a lot of junk news, a lot of news as far as the vaccination and medicine is concerned. Out of all these things, the news has lost its credibility. I told you, na, credibility is important. So, certain ideologies, certain things which is needed to be observed directly, you should observe directly. There is nothing like most of the related medical, especially because medical supervision or observations, through observations they'll gain a lot of things. And whenever ongoing behavior, they behave like that. My father has told me that his behavior is bad, and just because my father has told me, I will tell somebody else that his behavior is bad, and I will refer my dad, and whomever you have told, he will refer your name, but he will not confirmly, or he will not confirm it, or he cannot come to one conclusion that the person is bad unless and until he absolutely watches his misbehavior. If he comes across on the road and that person is misbehaving with some environment and he has witnessed it, then he will confirm it. Yes, Professor Venugopal and his father has told that he is not a good man. Now I am observing it. There is a physical evidence. That is one advantage. Whenever the product output, when I was working for Dabur, a lot of breakages used to come, Dabur Amla. And all the distributors used to give complaints on your Dabur Amla is getting broken. And the company has passed one resolution. Unless and until the broken bottle is given back, it will not be, the money will not be back. The money will not be reimbursed. Because of why? Because of observation is lacking. Maybe everybody is telling like that. Whom to believe? So, anyways, this is vertical observation is needed, right? When all the other alternatives are not feasible, not flexible, only observation is highly needed, then they will go for observation, which is absolutely not a plate of our meal. I really consider this. Why? Because in our social work or else in our management studies, we need to collect certain information out of sense, not out of observation. Well, coming to our plate of meal, that is survey and interviews. But when we come across the people, their perceptions will be known, their opinions will be known, their ideas will be known. Then we can have all the chances to measure their behaviors. And all the people are there, when the people are infinite, how can you really say some FMCG product is there, Colgate? And how can you really know the customers of Colgate? Infinite. They don't have data. If some bank is there, you can just have the data of the bankers, that particular bank's customers. Fine. Because customer data is there with the bank. But for a FMCG customer, how? How to calculate? Then it is infinite. Either that or this. If population is huge enough, very huge, we should take a sample. That sample should be the representative of whole, because of whole is huge. Absolutely. And the responses come in irregular. It is what the skewness. It is what the skewness and curtosis we will measure. While the data comes and all the data set and pumped in SPSS format, and you just go for skewness and curtosis. If they are not measured with qualifying quantities, and it's really big problem as far as the response rates are concerned. How many people, what they have responded out of common sense, they have responded, means it is a big problem. That's why the response rate should be accurate, and the response rate, nowadays nobody is answering. Online previously it was good. Now online, if at all I send 10,000 online questionnaires, I used not to get even 100. Because people are even tired of writing vertical reviews and writing answers to the questionnaires. Knowing the importance of this work to particular academics, people like you who are in vertical and academics may have the chances. But real customers are not in a position to respond. Every time, as far as the survey and interview is concerned, response is not good. They are just writing and they are just taking up the questionnaire filling in for the sake of filling in. For my sake, for your sake. Anyways, as a part of survey and research, we will have to take much time. We should have patience. We should not compromise. And we should not ask him, whatever you want, write it and give it. If you really tamper them like that, results will absolutely be wrong. So there are telephone surveys, online you can do, self-administered questionnaire. And when it comes to self-administered questionnaire, make it sure that it should be standardized with validity and reliability. So administered questionnaire, already development is done by someone and you are taking it, and it is also very good because somebody has done, somebody has given some questionnaire, means it must have already been standardized. So when it comes to questionnaire, it is so easy because money is so low. Previously, I used to, when I was doing, I used to type and I used to make the questionnaires Xerox. Certain research practices, consumers for insurances, I have done recently, health insurance I have done, consumer health insurance. It has become so easy through survey I have done, very low cost. Because when the universe is very large, when the population size is very large, a lot of customers are there. I can send 10,000 to online, I can send easily. Online questionnaire is easy, and Google Forms I can send through Google Forms. They can respond. At least 1% response is there, 100 response will come. That is really what we should also write. So questionnaire method is low cost. There is no bias also. Interviewer may have all the chances to have bias, because he is the one who has to confront to the customer or the respondent, and he may be biased because of asking certain questions to somebody and certain questions to somebody else. Here questionnaire, common questions, common paper, common options to everyone. And we can have a chance to give adequate time. Interview you cannot do like that. Good timing is there. And the respondents also, they are convenient enough, because when we send the questionnaire, we will ask them whenever they are convenient, whenever they have enough time to respond. Let them respond like that one. That would be nice if they respond like that. Especially large samples can be made use, and the results highly reliable. And the sample is large, highly reliable. Anyways, whatever the sample is, out of 600, beyond 600, it is not advisable. But large samples are there, and sample you are taking for them. For 500 people, how come it is possible for you to go for interviews or focus group discussions? And some researches are not suitable for focus group discussions also. Directly you need to contact the respondent. These are all the advantages, but the disadvantages is also there. A lot of returns are not coming. As I told you, 10,000 applications I have sent, 10,000 respondents I have sent, and I have got only 100 responses. I was astonished, in fact. All the customer data, I have sent. And you should absolutely understand, as I told you, I was also doing tribal marketing research. When I went to tribal and wandered to the areas, people are not able to understand my language. I was not able to understand their language. They were just afraid of me. And when I was asking certain questions with my body language and gestures, they were fearful, they were frightened because of their uneducation, illiteracy. They were not cooperative. And once interviewer is there, you can get the information one by one. If he doesn't want to give me the information, I will ask again and again, and I will pinch him. As you see, a lot of debates, political debates are being conducted by a lot of news channels who are really pampering the political leaders, and they will get what they want. They ask the same question time and again, and they wanted to get what they want. Likewise, it is absolutely demerit as far as questionnaire is concerned, which is not possible. If question is not answered, we cannot do anything if it doesn't really want to answer it. And there is always a chance to have ambiguity. Ambiguous replies can be given. If it is open-ended, if certain questions, give me any suggestions, he will give a lot of suggestions, which may create ambiguous. And also, such as two questions are there. Two questions are somewhat related, and both are related. If both are related, one is given 5 and one is given 1, and both are related, both are positively effective, and it will not work out. It creates a lot of rigidity and ambiguity in fact. So there may be omissions, there may be ambiguity created. These are all creating It will all go to data cleaning again. As I told you, 385 is the determined size, and we have taken, and only 210 were taken into consideration. All the remaining questionnaires went to drain, went in vain. Why they were in vain? Non-sampling errors. So the process is slow. If you really want to do it fast, you cannot do it. The process is very slow, and you should really absolutely wait for the. Whenever you prepare a questionnaire, again I am telling, I stress on words that you should, before you go for a big research, before that you should absolutely go for a pilot study. And take it granted that the particular study is reliable, reliability test to be done, validity test to be done for the questionnaires. Take it granted that the questionnaire is valid enough and reliable enough. So when it comes to general forms, there are structured and unstructured. This one all there. When it comes to structured form, there is a particular definitive and concrete predetermined questions are there. When it comes to unstructured, general guidelines will be there, and question formulation is changing according to their own, and their own question formation will be done. When it comes to question sequence, order, it should not be too long. Don't give strain to the respondents. Should not be stressful. Sequence means what? This condition. As far as the language is concerned, everything. You should not absolutely ask any controversial questions on personal character or personal wealth. Response will be null. And formulation sequence, question formulation and sequence, which is very, very easily understood, simple, conductive, concrete examples or concrete information is expected. So when it comes to interviews, most of them are semi-structured. A lot of explored, complex, and it's not finally decided. They would like to ask many more, much more, more than much questions after answering one by one. It may not exactly be determined or predetermined. A lot of unclear questions are there. If you have a chance to get or a chance to become an interviewer, permission is given. A lot of questions, a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors can be cleaned away. And you have got all the chances to make a structured questionnaire in the next interview. And mind you, like a lot of journalists are there. I am really surprised, and I really appreciate their sense of humor and presence of mind. Spontaneous facts. When you keep on interviewing someone, you have the zeal and you have the tinge of spontaneity. But the demerits are also there, so expensive as with respect to the money, with respect to the labor, with respect to the time also. These three, cost means cost as far as the money to be spent is concerned, time to be spent is concerned. As I told you, information through interviews to be gathered from a lot of people needs a lot of evaluators. And one should absolutely concentrate while recording, while somebody is responding. One should not leave even, you cannot leave even one single word. Every sound is to be recorded, every response is to be recorded, to be taken into consideration. So most of the social issue things are with that. Finally, the focus groups. It is also very interesting qualitative research where homogeneous groups are taken into consideration. Yeah, what we brought together. Recently, we have done one big survey, UGC survey, on a customization of e-banking in rural places. So, me, with my co-researcher, have invited all bank managers from public, private, enterprise, all groups, all private, public, government, everybody was invited. They are all homogeneous. They are all related to banking. They are all related to management. They are all related to rural bank. We have invited and we have asked a lot of questions where we got a lot of the issues related to them, the themes set to them. It's very interesting and information is highly needed. So, very important when you arrange focus groups, the language that you use is very important. It should be understandable and it should be clearly understandable. And you know, a lot of problems may occur out of debates. Debate may convert into controversy. Controversy may convert into conflict. Conflict may convert into fight also. So you should have control over the situation while conducting focus groups, which may be very interesting for all the students. In fact, if you want to go to picnic and all the classroom is there, 60 people, and you want to select one, there are 5 options. And you just go for focus group discussion. A lot of debate, any heated atmosphere will be there. It is because of certain situations come means you should have control over the situation. So it is so problem when the trust is not established. The focus group cannot be conducted when you don't create any kind of trust. That a trust you should create. Though I will do something to this community, or else my research will be helpful. So that only they will do it. Here handloom workers are there. A lot of researchers have done on that. And recently our colleagues and myself also have gone there and they refused. Get out. They told us, get out. Why? We wanted to go for focus group discussion. FGD we want to conduct. Why do you reject us? Then they should be told that we don't trust you. Why? It is absolutely because of so many people have come, but nobody has done anything for us. So because of that, they did not want to open their mouth. Simple. Lot of people keeping mum because nothing can be done with him. Why should I tell him? A lot of problems are kept mum. So very important thing is what? Everybody should be let free expression. So everybody should be given freedom to express. Express whatever they feel. And absolutely, there should be a confidentiality as far as the information gathered is concerned. Unless and until analysis is done, you should not expose. Even after analysis also, you cannot expose that particular person has given this information. It really creates a lot of problems for that particular purpose. My dear students, a final note by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He is a very interesting researcher, philosopher. I never guess it is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. It is not possible. One cannot theorize before gathering data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts and theories. instead of theories to shoot facts. Thank you very much for the time. I think I have taken half an hour more, and I feel and believe that it was not my fault. And I thank Dr. K.V. Somanath, and I also am surprised I did not see. Now I am watching. Thank you very much, Dr. K.V. Somanath. I am done.
Okay.
Yeah, I should really request an excuse. I need to go. If anybody has any doubts, you just can give my mail to them or else my WhatsApp number to them, and I will definitely respond.
Okay. Can I see you, Mr. Venu?
Yeah, I am watchable.
No, you are watching, but you are not visible here. That's why.
No, I am there on the screen.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Dr. Venugopal, for your splendid and excellent way of presentation with reference to the research methodology concept of data collection and various techniques and tools which are there for managing the data collection. And I think you have gone for a very elaborative way of expressing what are the essentials to do regarding the data collection and the processing of the data, and what are the precautions to be taken, and what are the tools and techniques could be applied in a judicious manner. And with this few words, I would like to thank Dr. K. Venugopal for taking this online session and to bless our students who are the research scholars, MBA and MCOM students. Apart from that, I would like to thank the management of Aditya Institute of Technology and Management for giving permission to Dr. K. Venugopal for rendering his services towards the online session of the various research students of our college, as well as some other colleges of India across the states. And with these particular words, I thank you, Dr. K. Venugopal, for your expertise and control over the subject, and you have disseminated whatever it is essential for the students to take precautions while going for an effective research process in the future course of time and even at present. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Parikshit Agarwal Saab, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And convey my regards to the principal, to our to your beloved
He is
principal.
somewhat busy with some other
Yeah.
That's why
I
he
can.
couldn't come here.
No problem.
But he
No problem.
always very much anguished to know what Venu is saying. I think he might be hearing or maybe in some busy work. And after some time we'll go for another session. Then we will have a meeting with him virtually.
That is fine, sir. That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I thank your management and your team especially for giving me this opportunity to get a chance to interact with
I also
all of
your
your
thanks to our
management.
our principal sir, our IQSC, as well as your institution's management, your principal
Yeah.
sir and IQSC for giving us a valuable occasion to meet virtually and present the situation under the COVID-19 scenario. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I think tomorrow's session will be Ranganath sir. Am I right, sir?
Is there? Okay, same time.
Ranganath sir is there, na?
Yeah,
Online now?
already included.
Yes, sir, I am there.
Yes,
Ranganath sir, namaskar.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Excellent,
Good evening.
sir.
Thank you very much
Good
for
evening.
associating with us in this particular webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
And,
you.
Thanks joining in this session to test me.
PowerPoint presentation.
And thanks for the Somanath sir for arranging such a nice platform,
Yeah, that's true.
assembling the galaxy of intellectuals like you.
Yesterday
And,
there was a session
Dr.
of Dr. D. Kumaresan, who is from
Yes, sir.
Tamil Nadu, and today
Sir.
is Mr. Venugopal, and tomorrow is Dr. N.S. Ranganath.
Yeah.
And I hope all these resource persons will do a lot and create a magical environment in the research aspects of our college and among the students who are watching this particular webinar series across the country.
No, Dr. Somanath, we are all in the hands of a magician.
Who is that magician?
K.V. Somanath.
Okay.
Dr. K.V. Somanath.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Then, shall I call it a day? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you,
Bye.
Rangana sir. Thank you, Parikshit Agrawal sir. Namaskar.
Bye, sir. Bye.